Xbox is great, online trolls and Twitter terror. Veto fights with artistic gusto. Capture his essence with pen and paper. Vito is your inspiration. It's coming now and can't be stopped. It's gonna be a cool Vito summer. Summer, cool Vito summer.
Let's leave behind all these doubting voices. Let's go somewhere we can make loud animal noise. Let's go make animal noises. I picked you over all of the choices. Let's leave all these doubting voices. Let me take you somewhere where we can make animal noises. Let's go make animal noises. I picked you over all of the choices. Let's leave all these doubting voices. Let me take you somewhere where we can make animal noises. Let's go make animal noises. I picked you over all of the choices. Let's leave all these doubting voices. Take you somewhere where we can make animal noises. You coming at me like a wild valley. My head's buzzing so I ain't even feel that. The neon lights have gone straight to my head. You asked me to repeat myself, but you already know what I said. Take a step back, you cool alligator. I tried to be friends, but you snuffed me at the cradle. Punch a sock and lock it, you don't own the table. You're about to learn first what they told you in my favor. Does the sky ever answer? Or are we just lost in the race? Or are we chasing those flickers in cold outer space? Boy, 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 coming for the king. Punching shadow demons till the tin cup rings. Boy, 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 you better get in line. All this trouble starts at your borderline. Boy, 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 coming for the king. Punching shadow demons till the tin cup rings. Boy, 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 you better get in line. All this trouble starts at your borderline. My head's swimming from these crushed up sevens. 2 more drinks and I'll feel like heaven. All this talking that started my engines revving. I hope God doesn't keep tabs after 11. Take a step back, you ain't no James Taylor. You act like everyone on the block needs to pay it. Put a sock in a locket, you don't belong at my table. You're about to learn first what they told you in my fable. Does the sky ever answer? Or are we just lost in the race? Or are we chasing those flickers in cold outer space?
Yo, all right, people. What the hell is going on? Happy Saturday. I am fucking excited to be here on Saturday with all you people. I'm excited to be here with my 2 co-hosts. We got number 1, South London James. What's going on, James? You looking a little bit butchy today. A little bit, you look like a butch lesbo.
I just realised we were talking about it, and I said I'm bringing the butch lesbian style back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, last 2 nights. But yeah, I've got my feminine energy drink.
Let's
I call it the Roots Calhoun.
Got the quad vodka going on. I love
the Roots Calhoun. It's full of feminine energy.
You can't be hating on Roots already, bro. We love Roots around here. Come on. What else you got? You got the quad vodka. What else you got?
And a Foster's Shandy.
Oh, nice. Got the dually. Fantastic. And of course, jumping all the way over to Colorado in the middle of the forest, connected with the divine feminine herself. We got Forest Mommy. Forest Mommy, how you doing today? Fantastic to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on again on
What are you
the show we're
talking
doing
about?
now.
You're like one of the co-hosts here, having you on. This is oh, you got the
this
Corona
is the last
citrus.
one. So that means I drank 11 already,
I
and
love
I had
it.
some regular Coronas too.
I love
Not
it.
today, like in the last couple of days. But
I love it, man.
it's
She
good,
got
yeah.
that Corona citrus. That's such a nice surprise. I didn't know they made those
Yeah.
before. I know
Me
that.
either. It's really good. It's almost like a shandy in a way. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's a little like a D-Wag says. Is it some? He was kind of comparing it to whatchamacallit, Mike's Hard, but I'd say it's more like a summer shandy-ish kind of flavor, I
Yeah,
guess.
a little bit of
So.
like a shandy. That's pretty nice. Are you going to get them again? Or you think it's a purchase?
Oh yeah, I might have to send Mr. Forceman to go get more later. Anyways, so.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. FOMO. Thank you to him for allowing you to grace our fantastic airwaves on the show. So, and
One of life's winners, I would say.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. If we could all aspire to be like a Mr. FOMO, I would love that. That's life goals right there, people.
I always tell people without him, there would be no Forest Mommy. So like he's a big part of the equation.
Oh, for sure. And we
know,
appreciate him. We'll give him a little round of applause to Mr. FOMO. I got to make sure my button works right there. Let's go. I know we can't hear it on the Zoom, but it goes throughout the OBS, so don't worry about that, people. Let me jump in the chat and say what's up to everybody, all the beautiful people out there. We got Seashell SoCal. She says, let's fucking go. We got James Grabbing in the chat as well as on the stream. Good to see you, James. Glad you're here. Mr. Cheeky says, let's fucking go. It's Saturday, people. We're going to have a good time. We got D-Wag out there. D-Wag says, this song slaps. D-Wag, you got your White Claw going on? Are you going to go out there and get a little citrus action? Let's fucking go. Who else we got? Mr. Jakey, Darren. I think that's everybody. If you want me to shout you out, drop your name in the chat. Say something so I can see you. We got a couple of people having a good time out there. Hope you're having a good cocktail, a good drink. Darren D-Wag just dropped in the chat. He says, FOMO is better than Ray, who's better than James today. Well, FOMO is always better. She's the best, of course, you know. And
this guy's such a hater, mate. He's definitely going on the list. After I finish with Roots Calhoun and ruined him, I'm going to ruin that D-Wag, I tell you.
Yeah, no.
With friends like him who needs enemies, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and what's going on? He's always going back and forth, and you know, he was. We had the lunch table yesterday, and he was in the chat trying to rustle some jimmies. I saw that. He was kind of like going after Zayd a bit, going after you a bit too, James. And you know, he goes out, he busts my ball sometimes, but I haven't gotten any of it in a
he aspires to be a bully, but he just hasn't got the bully mentality or the bully physique. You know, you have to be a bit of a like specimen like myself if you want to be a bully. You're more of the put upon if you're all puffy and flabby like D-Wag.
Yeah, facts. I completely agree with that. You got D-Wag's got to church it up a bit. You know what I'm saying? Get that good looks going. I mean, D-Wag, he's a lady killer. Under all that beard and hair, bro, he's got to kill some women. D-Wag says, James, still looking good today, just not as good as your co-host. I mean, but let's be real. Who's ever going to look as good as Forest Mommy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
I mean, we got...
that's a competition I just can't win.
No, you can't compete with that. I mean, like, you and I are like dump trucks compared to Forest Mommy, who's like a race car. You know, we can't keep up with that, bro. I got something to talk about a little bit later. We got... more Clavicular out in Paris, bro, realizing that his life is falling apart because he has no game to talk to women. You know, that's one thing I was going to touch on briefly. We got all kinds of stuff. I got my notes here to go over. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. And we might have a couple of people popping in, too. We'll see about that. But one of the things I was going to talk about was, you know, the different strategies that men versus women have going out there. And when you see a man that's so worried about his looks that in his mid-20s, he's already had 4 plastic surgeries. You know, FOMO, is that a turn on or a turn off? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
There's at his level, yeah, total turn off. But like, there's levels, right? There's like, well, like James is over here, Clavicular. Like James likes to look good and all this, but he's probably not going to be like an annoying to some woman of, you know what I mean? But like someone like that, he'll like ignore the woman completely or whatever just for his own stuff, which that's fine too. But it would be hard to be a girlfriend boyfriend like that. So yeah, but for me, I mean, I'm so used to. I just grew up blue collar, you
Yeah.
know. So for me, it's always been like men aren't supposed to be metrosexual, I guess we could say. For remember the metrosexual stuff,
Oh
but it
yeah.
wasn't bad either. It's
Yeah.
like looking like there's a level of it where it's
Well,
fine.
well, there was like that whole Sex in the City, the whole metrosexual thing was around that time, I think. And at that time, men were like, oh, go to get a manicure. Oh my God, get a facial. Oh my God. But you know what? When I think about, men looking good, grooming, I think is the level that
Yeah.
that men should be at, right? Like if you have like a skincare routine, that's good. That's fine. At night, if you put on, lotion or a toner or something like that, that's great. But if you're out there competing with your woman to get attention, I mean, like that's like a little bit, that starts to blur into the gay category, right, FOMO? I mean, like if you've got,
Yeah,
if,
yeah, like I definitely it's turned off. And we used to hang out. We had a big friends group that was kind of like this big sprawling, different circles. Remember, there were some people like the dudes were wearing like the affliction stuff, or like
yeah,
the men had jewels on their jeans, like
yeah,
the girls had jewels on their jeans and stuff. And it's like, and they were just. It's just, that's a little much for me. And I'm just not like that. I like to look good, but I'm not gonna like blow money on it too much. But yeah, it is like you don't want to compete. You can't be prettier than your girlfriend.
yeah,
Like,
right. I mean,
have that.
yeah, James, do you remember when the skinny jeans came into style? Like at first, it was the skater guys who would go into the girls
Yeah.
section to get the women's jeans, and I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is wrong with these people? But then they started making skinny jeans, and then men are wearing them all over the place, and I'm kind of like, what? This is so gay. What are your thoughts on all that kind of stuff, James?
It's like, well, FOMO just said something that jogged my memory. Do you remember when Jersey Shore became a thing? And one of their like mottos, one that they said was like gym, tan, laundry. And like
Yeah.
FOMO was saying, the men aesthetic, their aesthetic was that they looked better than the women they were dating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They stripped off their chest hair, they got a tan, they were doing their laundry, they were getting the best clothes, they were going out to the club, they had so much gel in their hair you thought they were gonna like combust. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think women like men who are like that they cross over and they become like feminized men.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're too into their looks. And the thing about Clavicular, he's making money off this whole looks maxing thing. So it's like, how do you progress looks maxing? Well, you start tinkering and tampering around the edges, don't you? You start looking for perfection when perfection is unattainable. And what happens? You make yourself look worse. So the whole looks maxing thing kind of goes out the window because you keep chiseling away, and then one day you wake up and you look like Michael Jackson. That's just the way it goes.
yeah.
And I think he's so into this looks maxing gimmick when he should probably try and evolve past that and try and find like a different hook or a different angle or a different grift.
Yeah, now people, you guys out in the chat, you guys might be thinking, yo, I don't care about clavicular. Why are you guys always talking about clavicular? Well, it's because there's a reason. There's a method to this madness, okay? The reason why we talk about these different influencers is because clavicular might look like a retard to the people who are older than him, right? He's like in his, what is he, 22? I think he's 22 or 23. But the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds who are being exposed to this think this is the way to be. And this is clearly not the way to be, bro. Okay? Like my thought process on this is like a man can look good. A man can groom himself. He should look intentional, whatever look. If you want to be
Listen to this, D-Wag. This is good advice.
yeah, if you want to be whatever a rock kind of guy or a blue collar like FOMO said, look intentional. Like, do you guys remember when that I forget who it was, and she brought her husband onto the red carpet or whatever, and he's like a contractor, and he had a suit, but it was in a blue jean suit, and there were Timberland boots, and that's what he wore to the red carpet, and everybody fucking lost their shit about how fantastic it was. And they're like, oh, this guy looks fantastic. Stay in that lane. Don't like give up your aesthetic to try to, raise the bar and all of a sudden you become gay. Because that's what I think what's going on here with clavicular. Like he has superseded like this realm of attracting women, and now he's gone into the realm of being attractive to other men. And I'm kind of like, what's that all about?
Do you know what turns a woman on? I think what turns a proper woman on is if you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
If you don't change to please a woman, if you know when you meet her, you've got your style, you've got your aesthetic. Like you said, it can be hipster, it can be blue collar, it can be suit and tie, but you don't change for that woman. I think that's very attractive when you've got your own vibe, you've got your own style, you've got your own charisma, however that may manifest itself. And I think that's very appealing to a woman because that exudes confidence in your own skin.
No, I agree 100%. And Fomo, what's your take on that? I know that, I'm not saying you because, you already have your guy and you already established your thought process. But when you look at other women, what does it seem like that they're looking for, nowadays in the dating age nowadays? Are they looking for somebody who's looks maxing or is Clavicular basically just selling a program? I saw he just started selling classes. I don't know what he's going to teach, bro, but he started selling classes to other men. This seems kind of like a fraternal kind of thing. What are your thoughts, Fomo, on that?
Yeah, I mean, all he to be a good influence, he should just be like, yeah, get a gym routine, wash your face. But he's gone so like crazy, which I mean, it's kind of like with all the trans insanity stuff too, that you can like change your looks to a certain, but when you have to do so much work, you're not. That's different to me. Whereas I like if you work out, you change your looks, but it's you, it's your own like doing. So yeah, I don't get that. It must be some sort of psyop or something because like, or just we're in this world now, which that's why there's more of the troony stuff because women are online taking pictures, look at me all the time for the last two decades. So all these men have been like, oh, and then if any of them want that kind of attention or whatever, it's just like kind of made them worse and worse and worse. And
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
know.
agree. We got
I don't
Adam in the
get it.
chat. He says it's the Tate grift, but being able to monetize both genders, and that's true. They do. The Tates monetize both genders, but there's kind of like
I won't hear anything against Andrew Tate. He's part of Bruv Club. He's a bruv. I won't have anything said against Andrew Tate. He's a saint.
no, but no, Fomo. I think you're right. I think it is a little bit about social engineering, and I think it's the response to this attention. But see, men aren't supposed to seek attention, right? It's women who seek attention.
No, men are supposed to like feel awesome walking into a restaurant with a hot girl on their arm.
That's right.
That's how that's how it's supposed to be. But
Yeah,
they kind of like want the attention for themselves now, I guess. It's just different.
Right, and so that seems pretty effeminate to me, which kind of leads back into the gay category. Like, we all have gay friends or whatever, and we definitely, they dress a certain way. They like to get attention.
I'm friends with D-Wag.
Yeah, or like for example, a good example is my Magic Johnson's son, like EJ. You guys know who I'm talking about when I say him.
Oh yeah, that tall.
He's like
that
6'9", bro.
nog.
And wears like
And he's like in his closet. I saw him and it's just like that black tranny thing has been around for a while. Like even if they aren't tranny, like just that black, that shit's been around for a while. And he's just like one of those people. And he was showing his shit off in his closet. And I'm like, stop. You're
Yeah.
like a man. Like it's like, look how good I
What
look.
is he, a
in
RuPaul
this.
Drag Race
It's
guy?
Yeah, he's one of those people. He's
But
like
he's not drag. He's
no, he's
just
yeah, he's
cross-dresser tranny.
well, yeah, he's I don't know what you would call it. He's gay, but he likes to dress in women's clothing and stuff. And I think he even said that he only dates straight men or something like that. I don't get that. That's some weird psychological.
Well, actually, if he's at least being honest about it and he keeps his parts and all this, I can at least respect that a little more than like the full-on trannies. Because like
Yeah.
I've known some of these cross dressers in my life. When we start talking about lesbians later, I'll tie this all together. But
Yeah.
like I have more respect for the like crazy ass cross dresser men who just want to do it one night, show up at the club, get banged their ass in the fucking parking garage. Like that's their thing. But then they do it there and they don't push it on everybody all day, every day.
Yeah.
Like I have more respect for those kinds of people than what's going on now. That's moving it away. Sorry. That's just adding on
No,
to
you're
the-
right. I completely
He's
agree
a
with
tall
you.
black man.
No, I think what it is the deception. Like I don't mind whatever you are, just don't be deceptive about it. And be
Well, look at
upfront.
Sam Smith. Look how he started and look where he is now.
Well, what's crazy about Sam Smith is that you're right. He started like a bow tie or whatever, then completely went off the reservation, dressed in like all kinds of weird outfits. now he's starting to try to go back. Like, did you see Henry, or what's his name? What's that singer, the English singer who used to dress in all the women's stuff? His name is Henry Sassoon, or I forget what his name is. Fuck. But or Harry Styles, that's his name. Harry Styles. He
Oh, he's marrying that black chick, isn't he? Now he's getting married to her.
Well, he used to dress.
Kravitz.
He used to dress in all the skirts and the dresses, and now he's back to wearing men's clothing again. What are your thoughts on that, James? Like, is it a cyclical thing? Is it just to get attention?
I think it's like wanting to be part of the tribe. You know, whatever's hip and what's ever in at that time. When you get these pop stars, they kind of get swept up into it. And I think the ones that have got their own individuality, their own style, someone who's got like an old school mentality, a strong silent type, will just go, nah, fuck it, I'm just going to continue being me. I think that was one of the reasons Zayn Malik left. You know, because whatever you think about Zayn Malik's politics, he's kind of like just a straight up and down normal guy, you know, a normal heterosexual guy. And he fell out with all the One Direction crowd, especially Harry Styles, because Harry Styles became very much metrosexual. And like you said, he wanted to be like this generation's David Bowie, but David Bowie did it better. No one can be Bowie. Bowie did it in the 70s, he did it in the 80s, he did it in the 90s, he did it in the noughties before he died.
Yeah.
So you can't replicate that. Harry Styles is kind of like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it his own way. Zayn Malik, he was more of like a straight up and down guy. And I think that's why he left the band and come out of it. But some people just follow trends, don't they? And some people create trends.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You know, and it all seems very random unless you consider the occult. I know I hate to bring up the occult, but, David Bowie's very occult. Even his last album, what I think it was called The Black Star or something like that, was talking about.
Yeah, he released it the day before he died, didn't he?
Yeah, and going out into the darkness, and like it was a really strange kind of thing. And the whole cross-dress thing, it has to do with the occult and different things of that aspect. If you start to get into it, become an androgynous, and that's a big social engineering, agenda that goes on. If you remember, even back when I remember listening to like Van Halen, and like, and then I'll see him in person on like the TV. I'm like, that's the guys. They're in tights and hairspray, and they got these huge hair, and you got the hairspray bands and all this stuff. Like, what happened to them? Just the regular guys that could play the guitar and be awesome. I was wondered about that when I was a kid. I was like, why do they got to wear the tights and look like that? That's crazy. But that was just their style. But it makes you wonder, like, is that a style, or is that, like FOMO said earlier, is that more along the lines of social engineering? FOMO, we were going to touch on.
Look at Motley Crue. If you read the book The Dirt, right? Read the book The Dirt. It's a great book. And you see Motley Crue, they're going around, they look like fucking drag queens.
Yeah.
Right. Today's version, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they were getting more women.
Looks like a lady.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Fucking Aerosmith, whatever. Like fucking, they were getting more women than you can shake a stick at. They slept with thousands of fucking women, and yet at the time they looked like a drag queen.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And so you got to ask the question, like, is that aimed at women or men? Because women seem to go along with anything that's popular. So whatever's popular. But when men start to see other men getting all kinds of pussy, if they wear tight pants and rhinestones and start to make their lips plump and get ejections, and then all of a sudden they're talking about getting a BBL, like, what kind of man would get a Brazilian butt lift? Bro, that's like social engineering for men, bro. That's like completely changing the game. We were going to talk about this, so we might as well jump into it. We were talking about lesbians earlier, behind the scenes before we started, and we were talking about, like, I made the comment that I don't know if lesbians are even real. FOMO, what are your thoughts on that? I know we shared, we were talked about that a little bit before, and we've all had lesbian friends, and I made the contention, or you made the contention, I can't remember which one, that they all use something phallic, so if lesbians are really lesbians, wouldn't they abandon the phallic devices? I mean, like, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's the question, right? And that's why people argue about it. But it's like, if you are an actual lesbian, and I said this beforehand too, I'm like, okay, I can understand like fingering, and this isn't like, I'm just exploring this topic. I like lesbians are great, I love them. I've caught many a lesbian finger in my life.
Sure,
okay?
sure.
So if you with your lesbian partner or whatever, even if you're in a relationship, but you're using like full on dildos, Like even if they're not dick dildos, but you're like it has to be like substantial enough that it's like a cock. Is that really lesbian? Because a girl and a girl would never be able to like replicate that on their own. Just fingers. That'd be the most they could do. Or toes, I guess.
Or, yeah, yeah, or maybe a fist if they're really, aggressive with it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I
Three
guess.
fingers is
Oh
the
yeah, I guess.
technique.
yeah, they get like maybe a
Yeah.
forearm deep in there or some shit like that. That would be wild. But no, that's what I was thinking too. Is that like what is it about lesbians? Because they can't really have sex, they can't be penetrated. So I was thinking like, is it the fact that they just don't like men? But then how come like half of them dress like men? How come half of them become like men? Is it some kind of like unresolved trauma that happened to them? Like maybe they had a bad dad or something that was abusive to them in some context and kind of sent their sexuality off kilter, because that happens when you're a kid. What are your thoughts, FOMO, on that?
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so I used to go, there's a party out here at the gay club called First Friday. It was first Fridays of the month, obviously, and it was the world's largest all-woman party
Nice.
west of the Mississippi, even bigger than LA, I guess. But
Wow.
it was so fun. It was just like one of those dance clubs where it's just fun. I was like, now I never go back because they fell for the COVID stuff. Anyways, but then
Oh,
I just my mind's changed that like a straight girl shouldn't really necessarily be in their space.
yeah.
And I kind of like I found cross dressers and stuff that would show up on the all ladies night, right? But I kind of hang out with them, so I got to see their world. But the funniest thing was, I mean, there is for every man you see, there is a lesbian that looks just like him.
Yeah.
So like, and it's just like some women are just very butchy, and so it's just like, I'm glad that they're like, yeah, they look like a man, but like, it's just kind of how it is when you look like that. Like, how else you gonna like? I couldn't pull off the butch look very well, but some people just like, they just are butchy,
Yeah.
and they're killing the butch lesbians right now. They're like trying to make butch lesbians go extinct with all the trying to get all the girls to turn tranny. So I don't know. Like I think it just makes sense that you look like a boy. It's not necessarily like that they hate men, or even if they do hate men. I mean, what the hell else they're gonna wear?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
like
everybody
it's
has
just
the sexual desire. Maybe it's the fact, like, I have known, like, when you're growing up and you have friends that are girls and, like, then they become lesbian or whatever. And that you look back and you see that they never really had a motherly influence or a female influence. And then they get teased at school, and they get pushed down this road because they're not feminine. And then they feel very uncomfortable, like to put on high heels or to go to prom in a dress because they're not used to it. Like, I can completely understand that. And I'm not trying to change anybody or trying to be the moral police or anything like that. But I agree with you. I was like, if there's gonna be butch lesbians, let them be butch lesbians. Don't make them go and do the transgender thing. Let them stay where they're at. The same way with like tomboys. If there's gonna be a tomboy, let them have their season of being a tomboy. And for people who don't know what a tomboy is, that's a girl who likes to play like a boy when they're younger. They like to throw the baseball, shoot the guns, like do all that stuff. That doesn't mean they're a guy. Like how many tomboys would have been, converted to men if back in the 80s they had the
I would
same.
have been one. I would have been one. I
Yeah.
used to ask my mom because I grew up rural, and I was like, "Mom, I need a boy haircut." And she never was like, "Oh, maybe you're a boy." It was never about that. She just knew I wanted short hair because I didn't like brushing it at the time, and it was a good choice because we lived in the forest and stuff. So,
Yeah.
oh, and then just because like I didn't like I developed later on and never like had big breasts anyway. So I always felt for a long time I felt unfeminine. So
Yeah.
like they could have easily like got me then. But that's why you just try to tell these people because like my niece graduated with a gal who became a boy since they knew each other and stuff. And it's like I know she hears us talking about it, and I just wonder like you just want to ask, like, do you think your friend will regret it? Or like, I was really masculine too as a kid, but I turned out like this. And my niece is kind of like she's a little more butchy, not lesbian, but she's just like she does jujitsu and stuff. So
Sure.
it's hard what they've done, and they say they're the most binary people. They're like, oh, you have more hair on your arm, you're more a boy, or like, they're the most binary thinkers. Where everyone else is like, yeah, there's some people who are light in the loafers, there's butchy girls, and it was like normal, and they're the ones who've made it worse.
Yeah, you're right. There's no acceptance or continuum for people to say, hey, well maybe she's just a tomboy. No, no, she's a boy. you mentioned FOMO that you were having fun being a tomboy for a long time. What was it? Do you think that made you cross over or changed and become more feminine? Was it you saw a great pair of heels one day, or did you go get your hair did and you're like, oh my god, the fairies, the music just erupted behind you, or what was it? Do you remember? Was it?
I guess it was just because my ex-boyfriend liked me, and I was like, wow, this guy likes me, so I must be like girly looking. And then it kind of like then it just kind I wasn't like super tomboy then. I was trying, but my parents wouldn't buy me cool clothes and stuff, so I just like was awkward in high school. But then when I was on my own and like yeah, and then I used to like because I worked at I was one of did full charge bookkeeping. It was like this big office I had, and I was the only one there during the day. So I would bring heels finally, and I would walk around on the heels, learn how to walk on the heels. Because there's no one there, I'd be like,
Is
and
it?
then and then I kind of just realized my body and like, wow, I have these long legs and muscular. Like I'm actually pretty fucking hot,
Yeah,
And it just kind
yeah,
of then you learn how to like dress that fits your body, but and it just kind of like happened that way for me. I
yeah.
guess just kind of naturally.
No, that's fantastic because there was that video game that came out and it was basically showing a little girl as AI and the man takes care of the little girl in the video game or whatever. But anyway, the women watching it had this reaction like, "Oh my god!" That they started crying and stuff. And I've seen videos of when women are really staunch feminists and they're given a baby to hold, something changes inside of them and they're like, "Oh my god, I want a baby." So I'm always fascinated about what it is that breaks that whole narrative or the social programming and then like unlocks that genetic desire. And I think what we're talking about today is fulfillment. Now, James, I know that you're not a butch lesbian and you've never had that desire to be a
I'm
butch
dressed like a butch lesbian.
yeah, yeah,
But that's
right.
the thing. I don't know. Like, I feel bad for FOMO because I've always felt hot. As soon as I bounced out of the womb, I felt hot. I always felt like the best looking man in the room. I've always had that
Could you
confidence.
imagine if I had grown up hot, how much of a monster I would be though?
Right,
So I
right.
had to grow up
I would
ugly
love
and
it.
then
I
come
would love
into
it
it.
if you went full monster. I would love it if you just started like fucking turning on people, just going like, "Yeah, I'm the best looking woman on the
Yeah.
online. I'm like so fucking hot." Just like rubbing it in all your political foes' faces. I would just piss myself laughing.
Now, FOMO, would you say you had like you were a tomboy, or would you say it was like an ugly duckling phase? Because you said, or was it just something you didn't realize that you were attractive? What would you say?
Well, it's kind of tomboy just because I was growing up, I was skinning my knee every day. I was just climbing trees and like just very tomboy. And I was wearing hand-me-downs from my brother. Wow, my parents could give me a complex. I was wearing boy clothes. I had Bugle Boy. Remember
I
Bugle Boy? I
remember
was always wearing
Bugle
Bugle
Boy.
Boy.
I had some Bugle Boy pants. Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, and then it turned into like kind of ugly ducking or whatever. But then like I've brought up before, dads should always keep your daughters kind of awkward as long as like don't let them fit in. Even I know their bodies develop sometimes too, but it's like they don't have to be super sexy or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that was kind of like me.
No, that's how you get the good ones. They don't peak until they're in their early 20s or something like that. Like I see like I got a neighbors and whatever, and I'll see them taking their daughters to school and this clothes that they're wearing. I'm just like, holy shit, bro! You're gonna, yeah. I don't know if you remember back in school, like if you had cleavage, they would make you put on a sweater or send you home or whatever. But nowadays, I don't think there's any dress rules, bro. I think like, and how's a guy supposed to focus if you got like you got this high school girl that all of a sudden got double D's, and you're just like, wow, what the fuck? I don't know. I can't keep my eyes off that. James, I'm sure you had that problem a few times.
Who would be a parent these days, eh?
Yeah,
Fucking, if you've got a fucking daughter and you're trying to protect her. I always think about that because my cousin, he's got a daughter and she's just about to go to secondary school, which she's 11 years old.
yeah,
And I'm thinking, Christ, I wouldn't want to be in my fucking cousin's shoes. You know what I mean? In a few years' time, he's going to be fighting off all these boys and all these suitors. And being the type of personality that I am, I would be like really overprotective. You know what I mean? Really overprotective. My cousin, he's a bit more laid back, so I think he's going to be all right. But like, if I see these boys knocking on the door, mate, they are going to get the fucking Bernie Mac treatment. You know what I'm saying?
oh, for sure. And that's another thing that you mentioned. Shout out to Hobo in the chat. Good to see you, bro. That's another thing that you said is that like you're gonna have a whole bunch of suitors coming after your daughter. Like in England, though, now you like I've seen these Pakistani, these Indian men who are like 25, 30 talking to like very young girls sitting at like like jungle gyms or parks or play areas and trying to strike up a conversation with minors, bro. That would fucking boil my blood right there. Like how
Well, imagine
how would you do
they lie
that?
about their age when they come over here, right? So say you've got someone who's 15 or 16, they lie about their age and they get put in primary school. So that's like up to 5 to 11.
Yeah.
So they get put in there.
Yeah.
And then they're fucking, imagine the 20, 30-year-olds, they get put in secondary school. So that's to like 11 to 16.
Yeah.
So you fucking imagine it. And then you see them out on the street. Everyone doesn't say anything because you've got to protect all the migrants, all the illegal immigrants. But they're always sniffing around young white girls. We've seen it with the report that Rupert Lowe brought out.
Yeah.
250,000.
Yeah.
These were Islamic men. These were Pakistani Muslims. And basically in conjunction with the police and the local authorities, they were basically ferrying all these young girls around. And the parents had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
And the police, instead of taking them back home to the parents, prosecuting these people, they would take these girls back to these fucking groomers and gang rapists.
Yeah, and
it's disgusting in this country.
Well, that's why it's so difficult. We got Kelly in the chat. Shout out to Kelly. She says she always had cleavage in high school. No one said a thing, but I had teachers hitting on her too. Bro, I bet it's so difficult. Like, I would think that would be so overwhelming to be like a high school girl or a junior high, and all of a sudden you get these big ass tits, and then like all of a sudden all of this attention just comes at you, and you don't know what to do with it. That would, and who would
the teachers though? That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
teachers. Fuck.
And then you don't have nobody to protect you. I remember in high school though, I had it a little bit the other way around. I had a Spanish teacher, and she would wear the shortest skirts, and she was kind of fat. She had big boobs and the lowest cut blouses, and she would hit on all the guys in Spanish, bro. And she was a white lady. And yeah, I was in Kentucky, and I thought that was the craziest. I couldn't get over it. I was like, this lady's crazy. Like, you could literally see up skirt, like when she sat down at the desk, and I was just like, wow, this is nuts.
You could see what she had for breakfast.
Yeah, you could see what she had for breakfast and perhaps what she was going to leave after lunch. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch out for that. Yeah, but you could see her thong and everything. Like, you could see what color it was. I remember, like, we would joke about it in high school, and like, I didn't think anything about it, but imagine, like, I'm sure, FOMO, you had friends that were in high school that got huge tits, and then all of a sudden they became like the super popular out of nowhere. What was that like?
I just remember I was going to a small, for 5th and 6th grade, I went to a small elementary school. There was like 13 people in our class. It was like insane. And so like there was like a couple girls, and then as soon as I went to middle school and there was more schools all together, come to that, and there was all these girls that were just like, because I was not I just not at all like developed at all.
Well, and
I
that's
learned
not the
about
time
it.
for
I'm
it.
like,
That's
okay,
not
I'll get my period, but like this is not, and then I see these girls, and I'm like, holy, like I was like, whoa, like it's just, but they do, and they would get different attention. I mean, this was. Obviously, parents let their girls dress too slutty back anyways, but at this time, the 90s, late 90s, I don't know, the girls weren't too hoe bag. So
no, they weren't too bad.
But yeah, I remember just being like, how I still can't comprehend big boobs, how they work sometimes, like natural ones when people just like grew them. Like it's just like it's just like wow. Like
yeah,
I mean, even,
that's
like,
my reaction basically. Like wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I remember being in class and like all of a sudden, like, after one summer you had Sarah come back and she fucking had cannons, bro. And then everybody treated her different. And then like she was unsure of it. But then I would watch and I would see like in their psychology when it would click that they could make people do stuff for them. Just
they got all the power now, haven't they, to make men do what they want.
And it happened. And you would see all this.
Some don't learn it, but that like some of them though, like get right on it and they're like, oh right, I'm gonna start using this to my advantage, right?
Yeah.
But then you have other girls who never do, but
yeah.
Good for them.
No, you're right. And then you have the girls, okay, that don't develop, they're the small titty committee. And then they finally get a boyfriend or whatever in their 20s, and they're like, all of a sudden they get the big fake boobs, right? They don't get like the B cup, they jump right into it with the 600 or the 800 cc or whatever. And then all of a sudden, bro, I don't know if this has happened to you, FOMO, or you, James, but they'll be out at a bar and they just want
getting big boobs.
They just want to show your tits. Yeah, James. I don't think you. Well, I don't think butch lesbians get big boobs, James. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting them man boobs when I hit the 50s, mate. I'll be getting them man boobs.
No, but James, have you ever been around like women that get new boobs and they can't wait to show them off, and they're just they're just like look, and it's kind of like it's kind of like they all of a sudden have this power, but they don't know how to handle it, and so it's wild.
No, because it's not earned. You know what I mean? And they haven't gone through it, have they? It's just they've suddenly like turned up, and it's like, whoa, here they are.
Yeah.
They grab your head and shove them in your face. You know what I'm saying? It's like that, low in it. But like, I'm not really a big fan of fake boobs. I don't know how you feel about them, but they don't really float my boat, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is about fake boobs is that of course you got the silicone boobs and you got the saline boobs, but all fake boobs, the body develops like calcium composites around the implant, and so all fake boobs start to get hard after a while. And that to me, I'm like, if I loved somebody, I would, the woman can do whatever she wants, sure, but if I love somebody, I'd be like, oh man, don't do that. Your body's going to be trying to reject that implant for the rest of your life, bro. And then you're maybe
they're all getting them out now.
Yeah,
they're all getting them out now. They're like, oh, it gave me an autoimmune disorder.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, they're all sick now. All the women are getting them. Like, who was it that there was somebody super famous that just got them out, and they're like, oh my God, I've never felt better in my life, and blah 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 blah, and all this kind of stuff. But a lot
of the women in our country, they go and do it because they can't afford to get it done in our country. They go to Turkey. Now, Turkey doesn't exactly have the best practice. So if they make it back, some of them just die on the operating table. But if they make it back, they get infections and they die. It explodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like but they go there because they think it's going to improve and enhance their life and like open more opportunities in the dating pool. But like big tits don't make a personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
FOMO hasn't got big tits, but she's a good-looking bird with a cracking personality. You
haven't had to work. That's what I say. I haven't had to work in 16 years, 17 years now. And like, because I knew girls who were like hoping to score a rich man or whatever, and they're like, "Well, it worked out for me." But I used to like kind of toy with the idea, but then I was like, "No, I don't want any surgery. Like, if I have a big cut, I am such the biggest baby about it. There's no way I could like go through an elective surgery. Like, I don't even want to have to go surgery to stay alive."
Oh, bro,
I used to hang out with people like swinger kind of people because they have fun parties. You don't have to do the stuff, but they're like rich people with nice houses and they throw fun parties.
And they got great hors d'oeuvres, bro. I'm not gonna lie, they got great
they always have the best snacks.
They do the best fucking food.
And they're just like fun parties, but because though a lot of those women were into it, getting the fake boobs. And it was funny to see all the different body types and like there was a couple of people they looked amazing on. But most people like. They're looking two different directions, or like if a skinny girl like me gets it, it's just I don't have any. It just looks too much like it looked weird on some of the release because a lot of these girls were like kind of like Rice's wife. Like they did competitions and stuff, so they were just always so skinny and it just don't look right, But I saw a lot of them, and I'm just not gonna risk. I was maybe like I said, maybe when I'm 60, I'll pop some in for fun or something, but like. It's not worth it to me because you need surgery. I might need surgery to stay alive. So I have some time and that'll be hard enough. So I'm not even going to risk it. And I know girls they're taking them out now. They're like, now it's like a whole long blog post about taking them out.
Yeah. And how I'm finally accepted my body and the men made me do it and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. You're like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
And how many men paid for them? And then the girl's wife left them. And anyway, I knew multiple girls who they're like another guy paid for them.
Bro, the girls level up. There's always this idea that like the with the looks, they improve their looks and they feel like that the guy now is holding them back and they want to like rise to the cream. They deserve to be on that yacht. They deserve to be in Monaco. They deserve to be at the F1 races. And what women don't realize is that like, if you're going to like ball with men like that, the men are going to fuck like all kinds of women and probably some men. You don't know. And so if you're not down for that life, just stay with what you got, man. Stay happy. Stay with the guy who's treating you like a queen and like, the fantasy's not real. All the diamonds.
Well, this is going a bit off topic, but do you remember that Rebel Wilson, that fat Aussie bird, right?
Yeah.
She was really fucking obese, wasn't she? And then she got on the Ozempic or whatever, didn't she? She got fucking skinny, right? Now, her boyfriend at the time, who was with her when she was fat, right, was a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
I don't think he was much to look at, but he was a billionaire. But then it clicked in her head. It was like, suddenly in my head, in her head, she's really attractive. So I need to get a better man who's of equal status to myself. So she fucking dumped the billionaire to find this fucking imaginary man that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because inevitably she started putting the weight back on again.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that, like, you know, what we're talking about today basically is fulfillment, long-term fulfillment. And I think, like, so many times people, both men and women, sacrifice their long-term happiness or their long-term fulfillment for a short-term trend or a short-term, you know, excitement that they don't realize is going to destroy their life in the long term. A great example of that is, you know, cutting your tits off or cutting your dick off or whatever. You know, you think that's all you're awash in the excitement in the moment, or maybe even getting implants. But then after 5 years, you realize it didn't bring you the fulfillment. It didn't bring you the happiness that you're looking for. Shout out to Professor Grass in the chat. And so that's the question that I would ask. You know, how do you get long-term fulfillment? What are your thoughts on that, FOMO? How does somebody stay on course to get their long-term fulfillment? You know, we talk about relationships. That's one key component of it. How do you maintain or create a relationship where you derive fulfillment of? I mean, you're doing a
You can't
fantastic.
compare. You can't ever compare.
There you
People who
go.
compare. That's what it was, a thief of joy when you compare or whatever. And that's true. Like,
That's based.
you can't do that. Can't look at it because, and anyone who's been in a relationship, you have two people. It's so personal when every relationship's so unique and personal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, no one from the outside. I mean, there's general advice. I never took advice. Everything just worked out great for me, you know. Like, that's why I broke up with my last boyfriend too. Because I found another guy, not to be terrible, but that's how it happened. And I knew he may have wanted kids, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I did not. You know, we've talked about this, but like, I definitely did not want kids at that point. So I didn't want to like drag him along
Sure.
either. And we kind of like grew up together because we were like together 19 through 25 or whatever. So, but I could have been fulfilled. I could have stayed with him forever, and I'm sure we could have made it work or whatever, you know. So it has to come from inside, and you just can't compare.
Yeah.
And like, you can't, like, some people go crazy with this crap, and like, they make themselves miserable, especially like the women who get with the other women and they get divorced. Now they're single and like more not. They may think they got money, but they're not living the same lifestyle. And I don't know how you keep people like. And it's okay. You want to want more things, right? You want to progress and good things, but it's like there has to be that balance where it's not you just wanting something you just can't have at the moment. And sometimes you're not going to get what you want at the moment, right? Like, obviously there's certain things, but
No, you're completely right. And I think, like, even the concept of progressing, it's like you got to ask the question, like, what does progressing mean to me? Like, say for example, like if I was in a great relationship with somebody and they were attractive and, you know, and whatever, but they weren't like supermodel attractive. You know, what do I all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm going to keep looking for this supermodel looks, you know, or am I going to be happy and content with that? You know, what does progression look like in a relationship?
want to be happy for the rest of your life. Make an ugly woman your wife.
Yeah. King Yeti in the chat says emphasis on the filled. What do you think, James? What's one of the keys to having fulfillment in a long-term relationship? How do you get in a relationship? Like FOMO said, you don't compare with other relationships.
Yeah, I don't think envy. I don't envy other people. I've never envied other people. People that have got less than me, people got the same than me, people that got more than me. I don't like envy people that are married. I don't envy people that are single. If I'm in a relationship, I just kind of like take each day as it comes. I put one foot in front of the other. You know, I try to get better every day. I try to look good. I try to put in hard work. Like with the streaming, I turn up on time every time. You know what I mean? Be consistent. Try and find that happiness. And like I said before, my life took a very weird trajectory.
Right.
I was like at 21. I had it in my head that I was going to get married. I was going to start a family young. I'd found the love of my life. And then she did what she did. We split up. And then I kind of went on the old like 18 to 30s. I was going out clubbing, pubs, partying, drinking for about 10 years. And it kind of like took me to get to my 30s where I matured a bit, where I started realizing, no, you got to get your shit together. You got to start progressing. You got to start like building. You got to put one foot in front of the other. But never during that time did I look at other people with a sense of envy, because we're all different. Everyone's lives different. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And you know, with us being online, you find out that even the happiest couples, it's not necessarily happy behind closed doors, is it? It all comes out in the wash. You know, you find out people are just like you, they're struggling. Relationships are hard, you know. FOMO's got a really good relationship that seems to have worked for her, but it doesn't necessarily work for someone else. You know, sometimes you fall into it, sometimes you have to put in the hard yards. And relationships, they're very fragile, aren't they? You think you're on solid ground, and then it can just all fall apart. So you got to work it, haven't you?
Yeah, you bring up a couple of good points. You know, the online world is very difficult. You know, we've just jumped into this online world in the last year or so. It's very different from the real world, and it makes me wonder: is the online world an expression of people's internal thoughts, or has it skewed how people really are? What are your thoughts on that, FOMO? Do you think that when we interact with people online, that's how we really are, or do we take extra liberties because we know that maybe we can say it without confrontation, or maybe we can be a little bit extra? What do you think about that?
I think a lot of people are faking it, and then a lot of people are being real. I don't know. I feel like our general spheres are more real people, right? People who are going to say what they say, gonna be honest about things. Look for merch. You know,
Yeah,
everything's just like on the table.
yeah,
Everybody knows, you know, like there's like that's obviously more honest, even though like his world's different from most people, but like it's still honest, right? But no, because I've always just it's been easy for me to be real on there. But I guess people, yeah, they do kind of do weird things or squirrely things, or they can like play games, or you know, it just makes it easier, I guess, to play a role, maybe. I don't know.
well, I do think a lot of people try to get attention, and I think that's kind of it goes back to what we talked about earlier about when men start to peacock too much and seek attention, then they lose their masculinity, and that's one of the things that I really liked about Merch is because he's pretty much the same guy all the time, and he keeps this absolute kind of morality. And you know, I was going to bring him up too. You know, it seems like Merch has definitely been through the ringer in this last couple of weeks, and you know, with Ice Dancer and then had her stolen. I'm just recapping for people who might not be familiar with Mersh.
Trust no bish.
Yeah, had her. She went and strayed on him, and then backstabbed him with one of his good buddies. And then his good buddy comes out and says, "Yeah, I wasn't really his friend. We met like once or twice." And I was like, "Bro, what the? Why would you say all this stuff? Like, I don't understand the desire to."
You know why he said that?
Why do you think he said that, James?
He said that to rationalize the heinous thing that he did,
Yeah.
right? You don't fuck your mates over. You don't fuck your pals over, right? So in his head, he has to rationalize that he fucked one of his mates over. Apparently, they had an 18-year association or relationship, I think, where they knew each other. Regardless of whether they met up, they had an association. But he fucked his pal over by taking his pal's bird and shagging her. And he has to rationalize in his head now that, yeah, I did a bad thing, but the way I'm gonna get around it and keep my audience and, you know, make money out of this is I'm gonna say, yeah, we were never really pals, so she was fair game.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he did in his head. He's trying to rationalize it and trying to come out a half decent person when he's a fucking arsehole.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. And I'm curious why, you know, and chat, you guys let me know your thoughts on this. You know, one of the things I try to avoid, James, is I try to avoid injecting negativity. Because I know that it's going to come back on me. And, you know, I'm not really a big karma guy. I don't believe like, you know, in karma, but I do believe that you reap what you sow. And so I try to avoid sowing negativity. Like if I see somebody already on the ground, I'm not going to go kick them. What are your thoughts on that? Like we see Scampoli, like
well, if it's Roots Calhoun, I'm going to stamp on his head. But anyone else than that, I'm going to like extend my hand and try and pick him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I try not to get into internet fights. I try not to stick my nose into other people's business because it's never welcome. You'll be the one that gets your head snapped off. You know what I mean? You'll be the one that comes out worse for wear. So I try not to interject myself into other people's business. I like Mersh, and I find it difficult talking about this because I do like the guy. I genuinely like the guy as an online person. You know, you gravitate towards certain people, and like you said, he's very open, he's very honest. he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think that's the problem. Guys like him who put themselves out there tend to get fucked over and slapped in the face.
Yeah, no,
When you come into this online world, no one respects you. You got to be tough all the time. You know what I mean? If someone gives it to you, you have to give it back twice as hard. You might not want to. Your Ray Ray's happy, but you can't let people piss and shit all over you forever. You know, I never said anything. That Roots Calhoun, he was popping off at me like start of the year. I told you on that Christmas Discord thing. You know, end of last year, start of the thing. I knew he didn't like me, and I ate shit and I ate shit and I ate shit until I couldn't be bothered to eat shit anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but it's not a road you really want to go down because it's a road that's going to carry on and carry on and carry on. But I feel sorry for Mersh because it's a terrible situation. When you think about all the men that are thrown into this, and people talk about Ice Dancer, I think I've got no love for Ice Dancer. You know this. Forest Mummy knows this. I got no love for her. You know what I mean? I never followed her. I never interacted with her in the chat. And I think she's bad news for Mersh. I've said to you, haven't I? Never go back.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that says never go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Because once you can't trust a bird, can you? If she's cheated on you, right? What are you going to turn into? Because you're not going to be around her 24/7, and in your head, when you're not around her, it's going to come into your head that you think she's cheating, or what's she doing, or where she's been, or where's she going. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm wondering what my girlfriend or my fiance or my wife's doing 24/7.
No, you bring up a really good point, James. You know, you really have to watch out for that kind of stuff, and it's hard to regain trust once it's lost. FOMO, I was going to show you guys, we got this video right here. This was a girl who, a guy flew out. They went on a trip together, and here he's asleep at 12:30 of the night. They're down like in Cabo San Luis or something like that, and here she is. She's basically sneaking out. He wakes up and he catches her getting her her nightclub dress on.
Where you going?
To go out into the club. And so she's leaving in the middle of the night to go out in the club without him. Now is that something that how could you ever trust somebody who does this, bro? James, have you ever had a girl sneak out on the middle of the night with you to go clubbing or meet up with somebody else? Like, what the hell is that all about? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I did find out that girl was cheating on me, didn't I? I told you I was in the bar with my friends at the time. You know, there was me, there was Dan, there was a few others, good guys, good girls, and we were just sitting there, and I was having a drink, and I was probably half cut at the time because it was late in the evening. And then I see my girlfriend walk in, and instead of coming to me, she goes over to this other table with two fellas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is fucking strange.
Yeah.
And then my pals being my pals, well, you've got to go over there and fucking have it out.
Yeah.
So I go over there, and she's basically, yeah. You're out, he's in, you know. By the end of the night, it ended up in a fight. And it's like, I found out that way, you know what I mean? See, I've had experience like that. I'm not going to come in here and say, look, I've had a great life, you know. I've never been cheated on. I've never had heartbreak. That's not how it works.
Yeah. FOMO, have you ever had a couple of girlfriends that have told you some of these stories about maybe they went on a trip with a guy or got flued out, as they say, and then they left or went out to party, or maybe they used the guy to get somewhere to get a meal or get in a club and then bounced on him? Have you ever heard of that before?
No one I know, like, specifically was that hoary.
Yeah,
but,
that's pretty hoary, right?
I just want to say that girl looks banging in that dress.
She
I
does,
will
bro.
say that.
She is
I
fire.
just like I saw it yesterday. I'm like, that's a good dress.
Yeah, she looks fucking
I mean, there are people
fire
I'm
in that
sure I
dress.
knew who done terrible things like that, but I don't know why you'd want to, like, unless the guy was like super. I don't even know. Why would you go anywhere alone? I'm such an old woman now where I'm like, you know, I wouldn't go anywhere alone without a man anyway.
Yeah. No, she looks fantastic in the dress. No lie about that. And like, I would be heartbroken if like, she's
some kind of mixed race bird.
Yeah, she looks like she could be mixed race, or maybe she's Caribbean or something like that. But no, she looks banging in that. So I would be heartbroken. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of these guys, they pick up these women, and then they don't realize that if a woman is really hot, you have to entertain her, bro. You got to hold her attention. You can't just like expect it not to, she's going to want to go out to the club, especially nowadays. You know, they got TikTok, they got Instagram, they got all this stuff where they see all these other women experiencing this stuff. And so they think that they're hotter than these other women. They deserve to be experiencing it.
That's the price you pay for having a beautiful woman. It's
Yeah.
like FOMO said earlier, like the experience of the man is when you walk into a room and everyone looks at you because you've got the best looking bird on your arm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, when as soon as your back's turned, or even now, your back won't be turned, you'll have men around her like flies on shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like you're always going to be fighting some bloke off.
No, you're 100% right.
And I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to be with an ugly bird that no one would want to be with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want men to envy the woman that I'm with. You know what I mean? I want her to be one of the best looking women in the room. I want people to look at her and admire her. You know what I mean? That would fill me with pride.
Yeah.
That I'm with a woman that other men want.
Yeah, no, that's important, and it's definitely a status thing, and you know, it definitely creates a sentiment of attraction. I learned long ago that, you know, when you give a gift to a woman, part of the gift is allowing her to show off in front of other women, you know, because she feels all excited about it. One good example is I gave, I think it was like 6 dozen roses one time to my girlfriend, and I had it delivered to her work, and it was this huge bouquet. And so the guy had to deliver it, and then all of her work people saw it, everybody saw it, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And like, you know, she loved that attention. And so I know that that's really important. We got Julian in the chat. Shout out to you, Julian. I wanted to make a comment that Julian gave a Ko-Fi last time, and he said he was rocking his baby to sleep while watching the Bruvs. And Julian just had a new baby, so shout out to Julian, new father. Fantastic. Thank you, bro. Fantastic. Congratulations to you, bro. So I wanted to rectify
Winning.
that. Yeah,
There's a
winning.
geezer who's winning. He could teach us a thing or two, eh, Ray?
That's what I'm saying. He totally could, no, without a doubt. What are your thoughts?
I had that with the flowers thing. I got a really nice bouquet of flowers once for a girl called Bev, and do you know what she did?
What?
She gave them to her mother and told me to fuck off.
Yeah, no, that's terrible, bro.
That one didn't go so well, did it?
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's no good. But yeah, no, FOMO, that's part of the gift though, right? Getting the attention. Like a woman wants to have a beautiful dress so that she can, but then she wants to have a place to wear it too, right? So if a man gets a woman a beautiful dress, you also have to take her out to the fucking great steakhouse and the bar and all that, you know, or like, what is that? There's that sushi place that everybody talks about that all the famous people go to. You know, a woman's going to want to go there and show off. That's part of the gift, right? A man's got to know that the woman needs attention.
Yeah, and I think and part of it, if a woman looks good, that means she's got a good life, and he's giving her a good life overall. So it is a win, and I think that's what he loved when we first got together. Because I was a lot younger, and
Yeah.
like he was like, "Let's go, like get you a hot dress," you know. And I
Yes.
had never been spoiled like
Yeah.
that, so I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," you know. And then we
It was
took
just
him
like
to
Pretty Woman.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Except I wasn't a whore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
No.
I don't know. It is part of that. There's a whole thing to it. You can't just like want the gifts can't just be like, I don't know. Like for me, the gift, like I always say, because I'm so low maintenance, is like the fact I don't have to work and I can, you know, go to the esthetician, get my hair done, even though I do that like very frugally.
Yeah.
But like, you know, but the fact I can look good, you
Yeah.
know, it's part of the whole like gift.
Yeah, facts, bro. That's part of it, and that's how you keep an attractive woman. And I think a lot of guys, if they're focused on themselves going to the, you know, get a facial or get a blowout, you know, hey, pun intended, that they're going to overlook the ability to maintain that relationship with an attractive woman, or at least keep her excited and not become depressed. And then she gets all fat and shit, and then you guys have all kinds of other problems. And then the other problems end up in this situation where, you know, you've got
Well, I don't have to worry about my hair, do I?
right, you've got the woman who's basically throwing out this guy's all of his fishing equipment, and he's throwing.
I'm running to the loo. Be right back.
Yeah, head out there. Yeah, he's throwing away all the fishing equipment. You know, setting it out there and basically throwing away all the guy's prized possessions. You know, this is the situation that you don't want to get in. James, have you ever had a situation like that where you've been in? Like where the woman throws out your entire closet, or she wants to burn everything that you have, or
If a woman threw out my tracksuit collection, there would be hell to pay. I don't know what I would do. I'm
Right.
telling you, it would go to practically the limit. I'm telling you, if she touched any of my velour tracksuits, I would go crazy. But no, what happened? Did they have a row? Were they getting divorced? I mean, how did she even do it and get it so neatly stacked?
Yeah.
Who helped her?
Yeah, right. I think that she probably hired some men to come do it. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, a man definitely done that. It's not a woman that stacked that so neatly.
Yeah.
Is it like a stunt or something? I don't know.
I think they were getting a divorce or something, and she like liquidated his fishing equipment. But that's like, bro, tens of thousands of dollars of fishing equipment right there.
Yeah, don't give it away for free. Surely you'd want him to sell it and divvy it up.
No, but see but that's the thing is the woman wants to show the man how little regard she has for him, and basically get rid of it for free and say, you know, it's worthless. It's not worth anything. And I think that, you know, that, bro, that's terrible, bro. You don't want to do that. Even if you like James. Okay. So I've had some long-term relationships. Even after we break up, I still care about the person. I don't want to like fucking destroy them and, ground the woman into pavement, right? You're still
no, you don't want them to get run over by a truck, right? Accidentally, deliberately.
Right. Of course, you don't want to hear about, if they dumped you, you don't want to hear about them going off and having a happy life, but you don't want to hear about them having cancer either. You want them to be okay.
You don't want to like find a really attractive woman that smiles better looking than her and then go to her favorite bar when she's in there and rub it in her face like I would do.
Bro, I mean, no, you can do that. That's okay. I'm on board with that. You have to fight fire with fire sometimes, but I'm just saying you don't want to inject harm. Like if you
don't.
Like if you go up the ladder and you get a better looking woman, yes, you bring her around, you show her off for sure. That's what you have to do. Miami John says that's what women do, though. Ray. Yeah, I agree, John. That is what women do. That's why you got to watch out for a woman scorn. Ralph.
I don't know. In Miami, I think they do a lot worse. I tell you, I can imagine like these Latino women would be pretty handy with their fists, be pretty handy with a knife, be pretty handy with their tongue. I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to be in John's shoes if he breaks up with one of his black girlfriends or Latina girlfriends.
Yeah. No, but that's true, though, is that you got to be careful. And also, I've never had this happen. FOMO, have you ever heard of this happening where like a girlfriend of yours gets dumped by a guy and then she goes and beats his car up with a baseball bat, or she slashes his tires, or like puts bleach on all his clothes? Or is that more ratchet? Is that more like I
think that's just more that's just more crazy ghetto people who can be. But I grew up white, but the way women I know would hurt him was through divorce, and through like, it's that way. But I think that's just as destructive. But
100%.
But yeah, I've never had like crazy friends. Probably been good. Like I didn't have crazy influences on me and stuff, but it's nuts when people do that. I can't imagine that. Like my ex, but I had to break my ex-boyfriend's heart, and it was messy, and I was like, I couldn't imagine making it worse. Like I can't imagine and he didn't make it worse, and he could have, but he did, so like I think it's a personality thing. Also I was thinking, like right when I was walking back, I was thinking these women who do this kind of stuff, it's childlike, right? It's it's like that attitude, which we are children.
Children,
women are children, like who like need our structure, right? So maybe it was like that man just never like was able to like get her to submit into. I don't know, but it is such a childish like. I just never understood that.
Well, do you think that maybe it's a result from are men being too they don't grow up masculine enough? Like one of my theories is that a lot of men grow up with single moms, so they grow up trying to please their mother, then they try to please their girlfriend, and that doesn't work in a sexual relationship. You can't you have to have that chemistry. You have to stay masculine. You can't try to serve the woman. It doesn't sound like
we saw that happen.
Right.
We saw that happen like with the boomers. A lot of us have boomer parents where like even my mom would kind of emasculate my dad for a while, and he had to like get her to heal again. And there's times where it's like they're fighting, but you could tell like I remember my dad jokes one time. She said something like, because it was when my mom was going back to work, going back to school, all that. And like, I don't forget what she said, but it was funny. And it just like pissed my dad off so much, or something about being like the boss of the house, whatever. But yeah, I think that and a lot of these women get married or whatever, get in relationships, and they think, okay, now I'm in control. Because there are some of those marriages, right, where the woman runs things like the household very well, but they still make the relationship work. But I think some of these bossy women start like trying to think that they get to run everything, and it's like, no, it's not how it works. And
Yeah, we hear.
just destroying stuff is so terrible. I just could never.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
They change them after marriage, don't they? Some women.
yeah,
I've known that with my friends. You know, used to be like, oh yeah, we'll go to the football on the weekend. No, that's stopping.
yeah,
Oh yeah, we'll go to the pub on the weeknight. You know, after you finish work, we'll go and have a couple of pints in the pub. No, you've got to get home. I need you to do this, that, and the other. And you find that somehow once the women have got them married and they've got them in the house, right, your life's going to change.
yeah.
You're dancing to my tune now, and your friends can just pop
Yeah.
off to the side.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, James. I completely agree with you. I've known that. I've had friends and very close guys that are my bros that we surfed all the time together. They got one girl type of girlfriend, and she didn't want him to associate with any of his old friends anymore because she wanted him completely, saturated with her and her needs and all this stuff. Mr. Geeky in the chat makes a good point too. He says men can't get away from women. Period. K through 12, women teachers, then women are professors, then jobs where women are HR. Yeah, there's a big attack on masculinity. You know, I hear this all the time that women are like, oh my God, we're in the patriarchy. But then you hear also that women say, well, his money is my money and my money is my money. So where's the patriarchy, James? I don't see it. Do you see it?
No, I just see that some women are a right royal pain in the ass. You know, some people are lucky, like, you know what I mean? Some people like Mr. FOMO, man.
Yeah.
He's fucking won the lottery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what you need to find, don't it? I think with me, that's what I've done. I've got good instincts. If I'm in a bad relationship, I know when to get out. A couple of times I haven't got out quick enough and it's bit me on the arse. That one time when I was cheating on the abortion with Amy. But other than that, I've been pretty lucky. I've got good instincts. You know, if something's not going to work, I don't think you should stay in a relationship if you know deep down it's not going to work. You have to bail. You know what I mean? And you have to like be single and try and find something else. You don't want like a malign influence in your life because it affects everything else. If you're with a certain woman, it affects your friendships. You could lose them. It affects your job. You know what I mean? You risk losing your job. You know what I mean? Because you're not performing to the standard that you were before. Because all you're doing is dedicating your life to a relationship that's doomed to fail. That's why I always say never go back.
Yeah. We also have like nowadays, like James, like you're always going to land on your feet. You know how to have the banter. You know how to flirt with women. You can talk to women. But I look around like at younger people today, and they seem to have none of those skills. What's going on there? Are they doomed to have these like female dominated relationships? What are your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I don't think it helps when people are influenced by guys like Nick Fuentes that just basically says, look, fucking give up. He's basically like, give up in it, you know, don't seek out women, you know, don't fucking incel culture. I'm not a fan of that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to get in and amongst it. I don't know how, if you haven't got a male influence, right? Your dad's like, here you go, son. I'll teach you how to shave. I'm going to take you for your first pint. You know what I mean? You've got a dad that imbibes that masculine culture into you, teaches you how to be a man, how to interact with other blokes, how to interact with women because he's had a successful relationship with your mother. You know what I mean? Like my dad. And I'm like all for that. So I've been lucky. But now, like you said, with single parent families raised by mothers, hasn't taught a child how to become a man, hasn't taught them how to go to bars, how to go to clubs, how to like interact with women in the workplace. They give up, don't they? You know, they feel rejected. You know, they give up at the first hurdle. If a woman rejects them, they don't want to get back into the fight. And that's not how it is. You're going to get rejection. I've been rejected fucking loads of times. Yeah. But do I give up? No. I dust myself off and I get back into the fight because I know there's something out there. There's something better. And eventually I'm going to like score the goal and find the bird. So that's how I feel.
Well, you always have to keep trying. And I think that's what FOMO was talking about when she said progressing. You always have to be progressing. FOMO, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think younger people today are going to have worse relationships because they're not being socialized? They're too much on their tablets. They're too much on these, like the dating apps. Dating apps are just pieces of shit at this point that try to drain you for money. I saw a study where it said that they intentionally don't match you with people that they know you'll match with, so you pay more money to get super matches and and you can get like leveled up and get the gold package because now you can do this and you can do that. And so you never get the woman. You're always in the pursuit of the woman. So that's what your life turns into. What are your thoughts on that, FOMO?
Well, yeah, and like this whole incel, all these they've met each other online and they've just commiserated with each other and like they'll say the dumbest things like no woman will ever want me because I don't have a Chad jawline or whatever. And it's just like I said before, if the rules were rules, I boobs and men, like you can't follow those stupid rules. They're
Yeah.
dumb. Like my life's great and I didn't have big boobs.
Right.
So yeah, they just get together. And I think it is going to be harder because they just like it's just this they've validated each other so much
Yeah.
and
It's
they've
like a feedback loop. Yeah.
and they don't get the experience and like you were saying before like when women get with men and then all of a sudden the man can't hang out, can't do things. Well, it's like you have to as a woman you have to learn this lesson early on because women aren't really taught to have hobbies so much. Nowadays it's different, but I remember with my ex-boyfriend, we spent so much time together because like we both moved out, our work schedules are the same, and then his work schedule changed, and he was doing like some overnight stuff, so we have to sleep. So I wouldn't see him as much, and it started like really like making me mad, But then like I had to learn this is life, and like
Yeah.
sometimes you can't spend time like, and that he can't be my whole life like that,
Yeah.
And then I got into like he did bike stuff, so I got my own bike and I was doing my own biking and like I would go to movies alone.
Yeah.
It's like good to like teach yourself to like it's okay to do that. But these women get these men and then it's just like put like handcuffs and the ball and chain on, that term. It's just like
Yeah.
women have to learn that, like
And
have to learn how to do that. Although some men are feminists and like too much
well,
too.
yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
I
It's
think
just
there's a lot of men that are feminists. They're like, kind of beta guys or whatever that are raised by their mother, and so it's like an emotional fight for them. Like the rhetoric is emotional for them. But I think like going forward, I also think that there's unrealistic expectations that are being set. Whereas back in the day, do you remember when? I don't know if you remember. I used to see reruns of Robin Leach's Life of the Rich and Famous and all that kind of stuff. Do you remember that show? It used to play on like Nickelodeon or something like that, like sometimes. And shout out to Daniel in the chat. Good to see you, Daniel.
shout out Daniel. Daniel's awesome. For the last 3 years, Daniel has painted a portrait of me every year. That's great. He's a great guy.
All right,
So shout
Daniel.
out Daniel.
Let's make it number 4 this year, bro. Number 4. That sounds fantastic. But no, what was it? Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, or whatever that guy's name used to be, and that was like the closest that people would have gotten to what the rich and famous people were like is just through like Robert Leach's Life of the Rich and Famous. But nowadays, they have at their fingertips. They have Instagram. They have
accessibility for all kind of thing. Everyone thinks now that we can have that lifestyle, don't we? And it doesn't work like that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
Is that like, and women are persuaded the most. Like a man will live in like a studio apartment with just a mattress on the floor and like a Nintendo or whatever. But women have this desire to go to the top levels of society, and so now on the phone in front of a woman's face every day for like 8 or 9 hours, they're seeing yacht parties, they're seeing private jets, they're seeing all this kind of stuff, and it's completely.
Well, what did I tell you about Career Day? What did I tell you about Career Day in the UK?
Yeah.
So when they were going around for Career Day in the UK, and they were asking these young girls, "What do you want? What do you aspire to? What do you want to be when you grow up?" And they go, "Well, I want to be an OnlyFans girl.
Yeah.
I want to be a cam girl." And why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, easy money. I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm in my mid-20s.
Right.
And I also want access to all these men. You know what I mean? I want access to the parties. I want access to the lifestyle. They said this lifestyle is glamorous, and I can get it on my looks. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're thinking at a young age. That's the career goal they want, because they're being influenced by what they're seeing through people like Clavicular and the parties that he has and what's on Instagram and TikTok, that this is available to them now. They can come from a shithole up north in England and suddenly they can be partying in London. They can be partying in New York, all through what they're doing in their own home. Flying all around the world. Like you said, they can be an Arab's plaything just like that.
And that's the truth. And they're being sold these ideals and these fantasies without even knowing what they really entail. Like, for example, like you brought up the Dubai thing. Like, how many women would love to make $100,000 in one weekend? Probably every woman. But how many women would once they know that they'd have to be shit on a yacht by 12 different men, and then maybe have to handle a camel penis or something like that, would go through that to get the $100,000, you know? And at what point are porn stars even happy long term? Like, how many porn stars are happy long term that have made?
Scarlett ain't
Scarlett,
happy, is
Scarlett
she?
seems happy. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, Scarlett for sure. We got Charlie in the
No,
chat.
there's the only one good porn star is Brandy Love. That's my girl. But
Yeah.
but the thing like James was saying, how all of a sudden they're going. So it used to be a woman would be able to raise out of her class or whatever by marrying a man, and usually that would help, and then they live that life. But now you have all these women making all this money and like they don't have the male guide, but they are getting all this money from all these men. It's just such a different like. That's how I came. Like I got with a man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, shout out to Charlie in the chat. He says he wants to be a cam girl too one day. Mr. G.
Yeah, but you talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Me and you, right? So me and Ray will post a picture, right? And we're pretty decent looking guys, right? So we'll post a picture, right? And it will get a few views, maybe a few likes, right? Forest Mummy, post a picture, right? And you'll see simps come out of the woodwork like nobody's business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll be all over that like a
Yeah.
rat up a drain pipe. And it was like Kelly Cat posted a photo, didn't she, the other day? And it was like fucking people went mad. Mr. Kill Everything was tripping over his own tongue. He was like, whoa, shit, brother, fuck.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Women have got such power now through the online game. They just have to post a picture, and it can be the most bland picture in the world. It can just be Forest Mummy in a fucking vest,
Yeah.
and people will trip over their own fucking tongue. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
Women
you're
have
right.
so much power.
Well, I mean, it's because it's a visual media, the online game, and also men are visually stimulated, and so it goes hand in hand, and it kind of adjusts. It fits that perfect niche, like like you said, James. We could try to say the most eloquent, paragraph about the most wisest thing in the world, and put it next to like a bikini girl with big tits, and bro, nobody's gonna read what we said. That's just how it's gonna go. Shout out to Hillbilly Harry in the chat. Good to see you. FOMO says we got to get Brandy on the show, bro. I would love to get Brandy Love on the show and talk to her. Some of the most based women are, strippers, porn stars, or in the sex industry because they understand the whole.
if you can keep it together,
the whole
like
gender role.
like they're still married. They like started out as swingers and stuff, and I think they were like, all right, whatever. And I think once you get past a certain point, she was probably like, whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like rich as hell. So,
Yeah.
and she's still going. I'm sure. I don't even know how old she's got to be. At least 50, I would think.
Yeah.
So
I mean, well, it's crazy too. Is like all of a sudden now there's like porn has literally exploded, right? Like there used to be the Playboy, right? Then there was a Hustler back in the day, and the life expectancy, or the career expectancy was like, well, once you pass your mid-20s, you're done. But now there's like we were joking about it, gilfs the other day. They're gonna do the grandma OnlyFans, the
women
granny
are
fans.
so hot now.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember back in like 40 was old? I remember when my mom turned 40. I was like, I remember then. She seemed so old then.
Yeah.
And now like women are like.
Yeah.
Popping in the boobs and going.
Yeah,
to
I
the
want to do
gym
only
and,
gilfs,
like,
mate. If I can rack up some women and start doing only gilfs, mate, I want to make some fucking money.
Yeah, become a pimp or whatever, become an young Andrew Tate.
But did you see that the other day? Are you familiar with Bonnie Blue? You're familiar with Bonnie Blue?
Yeah.
Well, there's another one called Lily Phillips. Are you familiar with her?
Mm,
And she's like a version of Bonnie Blue,
Yeah.
both from the UK, right? And she's with this Australian guy, right? And she said like to this Australian guy, when I get pregnant, are you gonna want me to have a paternity test? And he's like, well, maybe no. I kind of trust you. I think I sent in a love boat chat, and he was like, and what do you think about doing porn? Can I still do porn while I'm pregnant? And he was like, Yeah, I suppose you can. You know, you got to earn money and all that kind of. And it's like this fucking guy, mate. He's the worst. He's so desperate to stay with Lily Phillips that he'll say everything. He's not going to take a paternity test, even though she's fucking shagging 100, 200 men at a time, and he's going to let her still do porn when she's pregnant. I'm like, you are a fucking scumbag, mate. Grow some balls.
Yeah.
He's that scared. He's that scared of losing her.
Yeah.
He's that scared that he'll fucking literally say anything.
We got Mr. Jiki in the chat. He says all those thoughts want to be doing the. I'm scrolling. Sorry, guys. The private porn to make their money and then delete everything off the internet. Presby Bro says, just for the record, there is no such thing as a base porn star. No prostitutes or girls ever, or e-girls either. Is what he says.
That's true, but some end up crack whores and some end up okay. That's all we were saying.
Well,
like,
yeah, no,
some of them could be.
I agree, but like I also think that like a lot of these women understand fundamentally this, like the gender role. They understand that men are for this and women are for that. They don't try to pretend otherwise. And I think a lot of women that aren't in that industry, and I'm not saying women should be in the industry because I don't think so. I agree with Presby Bro. But a lot of women that aren't in the industry think that all of a sudden now, you know, they don't need a man. They don't need no man. I've heard that so many times when the whole economy runs off the male sex drive. Consider for a moment if men didn't have a sex drive aimed at women, what would happen to the economy and what would happen to women, bro? Women are basically pedestalized, especially in the West. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. Like, you know, like James, for example, you know, you see it in your country. You got all the Muslims bringing in women. I saw in the Middle East that they sell women as slaves, bro, over there. And where's the outrage from the feminists about that, bro? They're not mad about it. And that
it's a barbaric culture, but they just turn a blind eye because it's convenient. Because it's basically what they believe in. They believe in mass immigration, so they're basically going to like, I've told you before, they don't assimilate to our culture. We have to assimilate to their culture.
Right.
We also have to turn a blind eye to their culture.
No, I get all that and I understand that, but my point being is not at their culture. They can do whatever they want. My point is, how come women in our culture want to regulate our men, the men of the West, but then when the men from the East come into their culture, it's hands off. They don't regulate them. And my contention is because they are really afraid of confrontation with those types of men, because those men still have violence as a tool. They know that Western men have no violence as a tool, so they run all over Western men. And it would be better for our society if Western men had violence as a tool again, so that women didn't run all over them, so that we could put order back into our society. Now, I'm not
order out of chaos.
I'm not saying don't beat the shit out of women. Of course, I'm not for that. But I am for like men having the final say in things, because men have to go interact with the consequences of the natural world. Women don't have to interact with consequences of the natural world. They get a man to do it. Like, say, for example, a woman has a kid with a guy in their 20s and the guy leaves her. Well, there's probably 30 other guys ready to pick up where that other guy left off and raise that other guy's child. That's what I'm saying. If the woman wants that, you know, what are your thoughts on that, FOMO? Do you have any opinions?
Look at, and like how the feminists are totally fine with their culture, which
That's what I'm
like we were
saying.
against that.
Yeah.
And now they'll put on the handsmaid tail for whatever. It's like they actually are handsmaids over there and like wearing the actual things. Like, what are you doing? And all these progressive liberal white women, they vote. There are literal Sharia law Muslim men and local governments elected to positions, you know, in Minnesota and all these places.
New
so
York
like,
City, 100%.
I don't get it. Yeah, you say it is such what the happened to America women, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's so messed up. Like, that's okay. That's okay. But if a woman, if a man's like, yeah, I would have a wife and a couple kids and I'll take care of her. That's like the worst thing in the world. But letting this like Sharia law guy who thinks he can kill you, he can honor kill you or whatever,
yeah.
that's okay. Like, it's so weird. I guess just the college and the feminism from the boomers and all that. So, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I think you nailed it perfectly. Women get all up in an uprage if their boyfriend or their husband asks them to wash a dish or make a sandwich, but they don't give a fuck if, you know, some little girl gets genital mutilation at the age of 9 at the hands of this other society. Like, you know, their practices and their priorities are way out of whack. on that for sure. And so that drives me nuts when I
Although
hear.
we're coming up, because we're mutilating kids' genitals now too with the trans stuff. So maybe it's maybe every society goes this way. I don't know.
Well, I agree, and I think it fundamentally shows that the experiment of feminism was a failure and only designed to shape society and to change the West, basically to make the West weak, to make it subservient to the influence of the bullshit that comes from the East. Because within all of those cultures, they have like bachabazi, which is like the dancing boys of Afghanistan in Islamic culture. They embrace that where young boys are basically a sexual tool for older men. They have them dance. They do all that kind of stuff. It's fucking wild, bro. And we're starting to see that more and more in America. Like they just had a big thing where they had those kind of boys, those kind of men come in and dance, like that, where they're voguing. Have you seen that FOMO where they fall backwards and they jump and fall back
Yeah,
on the
the
floor?
little drag kids. They're like making kids do drag, boys. And yeah,
Yeah.
they're like they do the stupid dances like this, and then they do that thing where they fall back, and it looks so stupid because it's a man, it's men doing it.
Yeah.
So, but it's weird. It's like it is the same thing though. Like having children dance for you, it's like in a sexual manner.
Yeah.
How is that different?
Yeah.
I don't get how it's
And so
different,
that's
but
why
these
I'm like, where's the women at? Because women used to be traditionally the arbiters of morality.
these stupid bitches are bringing their kids to
I
the drag
know.
stuff.
It's
Mm.
Like,
wild,
what the
bro.
hell?
Yeah, it's
Like,
fucking
they need
wild.
to be on. Like, there has to be a point. Like, obviously, women are such followers, but it's like there has to be some women who just finally like stand up and say, "No, this is stop doing this, and you're going to be ostracized from us now." Like, you have to ostracize a white woman to make her learn a lesson, right? So it's like, but they're not. It's just so bizarre, especially where I live, because it's like it's just they're all like that, and I don't know how you get them to stop, other than but nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. Oh,
They
James.
don't follow me. They
Yeah.
don't care what I say.
Yeah. They're jealous. That's why. James, no, we see that rape report. I think is that going to be what helps to get Western women back on the side of Western men? What do you think about that, James?
In this country, white liberal women have lost their moral compass. They will not do anything to speak out against Islamic culture. They've totally rejected this. I think we've seen like female politicians, I've seen liberal white women just saying that this report is a sham. It's full of lies. It's full of inaccuracies. We should ignore this because it was commissioned by Restore and it was commissioned by Rupert Lowe, and that's a racist far right party. It's an agenda against the Islamic community of this country. We need to protect the Islamic community of this country at all costs. We're not allowed to say anything against the Islamic community in this country, especially if you're a white man or you're a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they basically shame you, embarrass you, shout you down into silence. So I don't think anything's going to change in this country. It's just going to exacerbate and get worse because we've lost our moral compass and we've lost our courage as a country.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. We got Hillbilly Harry in the chat. He says they don't believe in mass immigration. They believe in conquering other cultures, and that's what they're doing. Miami John says confused gender roles always signal the downfall of an empire. I agree with both of those things. I think the only thing that could possibly save Western society is a parent's love for their child, and they don't want their child to be, sacrificed on the altar of progressivism or on this altar of, this new world order kind of thing. How do we do that? How do we, we're doing it right now. As a matter of fact, we're making an effort to try to change things just by having this podcast. But besides that, James, what are some of your thoughts about some of the things that we can do in our own lives that to help to push it forward?
I think it's very hard to do it politically because I think politically in both of our countries it's kind of stacked against us. It's very hard to change hearts and minds. You know what I mean? It's very hard to bring people that are on the left or far left over to kind of like a centrist or a right-wing perspective. I think in your own home, you've got to take control. You've got to try and take government out of your life. You've got to take local government out of your life. You've got to raise your children how you were raised. You've got to take it back to the old school way. You've got to put your backs against the wall. You've got to bring traditional values. You know what I mean? fucking teach your kid right and wrong. I would say teach your kid self-defense. Teach your kid, if you're a religious family, embrace religious studies. You know, if you're not, just like, you know, show them the fundamentals of life. Do good, be good. You know, the difference between right and wrong. Show them the pitfalls of life, and just expose them to that, and try and raise just like good kids.
Yeah.
How you were raised, and how you want your children to
Yeah.
progress into the future.
What are your thoughts, FOMO? What do we do to try to decouple from these influences?
I don't know. At this point, I don't, because they have all these. Not only do they have the government, they have these NGOs. They have everything. Everything's so captured. In Colorado, if you, as a therapist, say, "Hey, you're 13, things are weird, you're fine. We'll just get through this," that's considered conversion therapy.
Yeah.
But cutting off tits and putting them on puberty blockers isn't conversion therapy.
Right,
Like, it's
right,
so
right.
Marxist, flipped. So I don't even know. Like, there's got to be a rock bottom, I would think, at some point. But like I said, it's like all you have to do to control these white women is start a Facebook group or whatever, and then like start like bullying each other. But the awfuls, they're like so good at it.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, other people don't want to do it. So I don't know how we get out of it, but hopefully there is some momentum coming back with the whatever it's called,
No,
because there is a lot more like.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that I don't know where the bottom is as far as that goes. I think Hillbilly Harry said Brandon Harris is in the house. Shout out to B Harris if you are. He says James is nailing it. King Yeti says one broad claim that the county lines don't exist, they're just phone lines. Yeah, that I saw that was completely irrational. She was doing that in order to muddy the waters and to try to get the argument off base and off center, off of the rape girls and onto the county lines, and that's what she did. It's a tactic that like FOMO said, the Marxists they do use that kind of stuff. They're far more calculating than the normal.
They're disingenuous people.
Yeah, they're disingenuous people. I think one of the most important things that you can do is to have children, obviously, and then you know, obviously try not to, you know, opt out of everything that the government tells you have to do with them. Don't give them a you know, don't avoid the, you know, the vaxes, or take them out of school, homeschool them. You know, I don't know how we can even go back to trusting the medical community after what they did to us in the fucking of the COVID situation. You know, you have to decouple your children and yourself somewhat from technology. You know, I think technology has you know, pervaded you know, and saturated our lives, and technology is the government, people. I think we have to understand that. Technology,
it's a malign influence sometimes, isn't it?
well, no, it has become the government. Technology is the government. X is the government. Facebook is the government. Instagram is the government, because that's how the government accesses you in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning, bro, to push their narratives, to push their stuff, to push their influence. You have to decouple from you know, the stars, this pop culture influence, because we talked about this before. When the Beatles came, you know, the British invasion, that created this pop culture influence that then young people stopped listening to their parents and started listening to pop culture individuals. So try to remove that. Try to, you know, maintain those relationships with your kids, and then fucking, by God, don't send them to a college where they're going to get reprogrammed. So you have to realize that there's this huge machine out there that are basically in you know, investing, you know, what is it? You go to school for 12 years in high school and then college for 4 years. That's 16 years of influence that you're giving away, not to mention the technology that you're pumping into your kid or allowing your kid to consume. And then you wonder, where did all these weird influences come from? How come my kid now wants to wear a dress? How come they want to paint their fingernails? How come they want to, you know, stop playing outside and want to stay inside? How come they're talking to these weird people on the internet? What the hell's going on?
I think that's the biggest tragedy, like when you send your children, you work hard, you raise the money, you send your children away to university, and 4 years they come back and they hate you.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest tragedy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's terrible. We got Grass in the chat. He says, Anthropic isn't the government, neither is OpenAI, because they are both just limited by the government. No, Grass, they're the government, bro. They play these games where they have these situations where they position actors on both sides of the fence, so that everybody has an opportunity to embrace someone. We got a Ko-Fi coming in from John. Shout out to Miami John. He says it's like Yuri Bismuth warned. In 20 years, the brainwashing will be so bad that you could have undeniable proof they're brainwashed, and the useful idiots still will defend it as if it's a lie. 100% agree with you on that, John. That's how it is, bro. But how do we decouple that? We decouple from it by understanding that there's a huge machine programming the kids. They're programming the kids, but they just use these other words like school, like kindergarten, like getting on a vaccine schedule, like doing all this kind of stuff. And then that's programming the kids. We already know that women think differently when they're on hormones. Like when women are on birth control, they're attracted to different type of men. When they get off of birth control, they look at their boyfriend and say, man, how did I ever get with such a pussy? That happens. So think about what's going on with the kids. I remember I had friends that were in second, third, fourth grade that were really energetic young guys, right? Boys. And then their parents put them on Ritalin, okay? They were zombies forever after that. They were fucked up after that. And so I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, we got Kelly Cat. She said her three were homeschooled all their school years. We're getting an elite group. That's the way to do it. I was homeschooled up until third or fourth grade, and then I was always ahead. I was in the GATE program. So you want your kid to have the best education.
The GATE program.
The GATE. Gifted and talented or something like that. Not the gay program.
No, I know.
But no.
Well, you're a fucking engineer. Of course you were in like a decent program. Well, I was in like I was in the dumbass program.
No, it used to be where everybody would say, hey, don't homeschool your kids. They'll be socially awkward. Where nowadays people are sending their kids to school and they come home and they want to change their gender. They want to be a cat. So that's out the window. So the best thing you could do is homeschool your kid. There's all kinds of curriculum online. I know it's going to take more work, but the relationship throughout the life will be so much better. They
frown upon it in this country. They're making it almost impossible for you to. They're making it in this country. Bridget Phillipson, the education secretary, is making it almost impossible for you to homeschool your children.
Of course, but at the same time, they allow the Jewish community to have their own yeshivas. They allow the Muslim community to have their own schools. So people need to wake up, and they need to protect their children like they are the jewels of their life. They are, they're the epitome. And for those of us who don't have kids, support the parents who are doing this. I know that Kelly Cat, she said she homeschooled her kids. We got Charlie in the chat. He homeschools his kids, two very fantastic young individuals that are going to grow up and do great things. Because
Ross has got kids, isn't he?
Yeah, because their minds are still going to be intact. Their emotions are still going to be intact. They're going to be able to, be formidable when they get out into the world. They're not going to be destroyed. When I think back about how much time I wasted in high school, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I wasted so much fucking time in high school, bro, that I could have been, I could have graduated probably when I was in 7th grade, and I would have been had all that other time to invest in something else. And then I went to engineering college, and that was probably one of the best things that I ever did for myself from an intellectual point of view, because, bro, that shit was rigorous as hell. Kicked my ass. What about you, FOMO? When you look back at your high school career, do you think, did you waste time, or was it just fine, or was it fun, or what were your thoughts about your high school career?
I definitely wasted some time because I just realized my nieces who have graduated now, they did all sorts of the AP stuff, and my one, got done with college basically in high school.
Yeah.
I like my high school experience. I'm not a brainiac. I was able to take a lot of gym classes. We had fun gym. We had a ropes course and climbing walls at my high school. So stuff was fun. And then obviously it was before, it's before what was going on now. So and I just was I knew I was a dork, and I just did my thing. But yeah, I definitely. And this was because that same school my brother had gone to 5 years earlier, and there's a tech school. So he went there and he got his HVAC certification before he graduated high school. So he graduated high school with HVAC certification.
That's incredible.
But for kids like me, like they don't open offer that stuff, right? For some reason, I think he got detention because he accidentally brought like fireworks to school or something one time. And so like when he was in with the counselor, and then they brought up this Pickens Tech, and like, but they even did beautician stuff. Like I could have went and did that. And
Yeah.
just even if I never did it again, like you could graduate with this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely it is a waste of time
Yeah.
anyways. But like homeschooling too is good because well, every parent should be teaching their kids how to clean and all this stuff. But like when you're homeschooled, it's just the kids see how you run a household every day.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's just such a
100%.
better rounding.
And I remember my mom would homeschool myself and my brother. We would go out. Everything was a lesson. Like we would go out, we would go shopping, we would calculate how much it was, we would weigh the stuff. We would say, okay, now if you had a business, how would you turn this into like, you know, a profit? Like what would you do? So everything was always geared toward that, and it was exciting. But then, you know, in high school and in whatever, I mean, like I wasted so much time. And I even remember like all of the really good programs got stripped because there was no funding. When I was in California, there was no music classes, there was no art classes. It was all terrible.
They were funding the NGOs and the genders. That's what's so stupid all these years where they're like, we had to get rid of art, blah, blah, blah. But they have plenty of money to start building this NGO gender ideology thing in the schools.
Yeah.
So we knew what they were doing.
No, you're
It's just
100%.
obvious what they
Also,
were
the
doing.
ESL classes, the English as a second language, dominate California budgets, bro. The English is a second language. We catered so much to try to teach all of those motherfuckers English that I remember several times in class, like our class would turn into an English, lecture because we had 2 or 3 different people from Guatemala who couldn't speak English very well, and we would all sit around and try to help them learn how to speak English. It was a complete waste of time. We got who is it? Mr. Jiki in the chat says facts. I keep telling my kid just to get his GED, but he likes hanging out with his friends. I mean, yeah, the whole friend thing is great, but also we all know at our age that how much better it would have been if, like, you know, you started working and saving money, and then like you could maybe own your first house at the age of 23. Leverage that first house to get, you know, another house, then have like a whole property flow, a whole a positive income flow going. But, you know, that's not very sexy when you want to go to the, you know, the football game, homecoming and all that. You want to go to prom, you know, those, it's hard to understand what those, you know, what real estate's all about when you don't.
And the homecoming queen become a slum landlord.
Yeah.
These decisions, they're terrible.
That's right.
I think I'm gonna bang the homecoming queen, then I'm gonna become a slum landlord.
Yeah, 100%. We got King Yeti. He says, I begged my mom to let me take the ACT in 7th grade so he could drop out and get into college. Yeah, I hope she did that for you, King Yeti. I remember I took the ACT very young, and I started taking college courses while I was still in high school. I did the same thing you did. And even in the college classes, once you get to college, you know, to be honest with you, unless it's engineering, bro, everything is almost a waste of time. Like, you know, of course you could do literature to enrich your mind, but you could do that on your own. I remember I took a whole bunch of drawing courses, and I was at a drawing class, and they basically were copying out of a book. So I just dropped out of that class because, bro, I could buy the book and copy it myself in my house. Like, what the fuck? I need this guy, you know, being all silent, paying like fucking $400 a class to go sit in there and be with some guy looking over my shoulder and saying, yeah, that looks good. Keep going. Keep going. And so I get pissed about that. Oh, King Yeti says she did not let him take the ACT and drop out. Sorry about that, bro. But maybe now you know for your kids, man. And that's what it's all about, is giving your kids one level up. We're coming up on the top of the second hour. We had a great stream today. We covered a lot of topics. Had a blast today with you guys. I always look forward to the Saturdays when we're going to talk about relationships. I'm working on it the whole week. You know, I'm pulling together the show over the whole week. I got a whole bunch more clips that we didn't even get into, just because we were talking about things that get fascinating. And I think that's what these streams are all about, is kind of replacing that, you know, the town forum where people can have real, legitimate conversations about things that are important without having to like censor yourself. But Forrest Mommy, we talked about a lot of stuff today. We're going to have our closing thoughts. What were your closing thoughts? I mean, and how was that citrus Corona? Did that really hit the spot or what? Let's fucking go.
So good. That was my last one. Now I have a regular one.
Yeah,
It's really good for summertime.
Yeah, you're going to have to get some more of those for sure.
Yeah, it was a good talk. It was like,
Do
know,
do
not
lesbians really
real.
exist? Did we get down to the bottom of that?
Let's-
Oh, there's
I
Charlie.
was just, oh yeah, Charlie's here.
There's
I was
Charlie
going to
jumping
jump in
in.
earlier, but my kids were here the whole time.
Oh,
And,
how long were you there, Charlie? I didn't see you. I'm sorry about that.
I just joined a couple of minutes ago.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
was my son was sitting here drawing the whole time, and I was thinking, aren't you guys going somewhere? They were supposed to leave. And I was sitting here thinking, I can't talk about lesbian fisting with him sitting in the
yeah. You can't talk about that lesbian fisting stuff with your son or daughter there. That's for sure, bro. I love the headphones. They look fantastic. I got mine on too, bro.
I couldn't find my AirPods. These are my son's headphones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, well, there you go. That's another good reason to have kids because they got headphones. Now, Charlie, we're gonna wrap it up here in a second, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. You homeschool your kids. What was your thoughts about how did you make that decision?
My wife was an art teacher, and after the second one came, she was going back and forth to school, teaching and doing the breast pumping at school and bringing the breast milk home so the girl could, the second kid could have the breast milk. And at a certain point, we thought, this is stupid. You're a teacher. Just teach these guys.
Yeah.
These other kids at school they're lucky to have you, but it'll be fun if you stay here. And so we just started doing it, and that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And now they're 10 and 12, pretty much, and they do a co-op and with a ton of other kids, and they're so outgoing, and they don't have to sit in a place that's it's a prison.
Yes.
Where you just sit. What is that? The Austrian school of whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, the Prussian system. Yeah, the Prussian education
That's right,
system.
the Prussian
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
We can have the mustache,
That's right.
We'll
That's
skip
right.
the school system. We get those Prussian mustaches out.
Yeah.
And I'll even wear the helmet with the point.
Yeah, why not, bro? And I'm sure it's been difficult at times, but you probably haven't had any regrets or things that you would change, or have you had regrets? I'm sure, you probably not though, but maybe.
Well, 2 incomes is helpful.
Oh yes, definitely. I agree with you on that one.
So because of that, I have been at this table nonstop for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And just missed everything. Somebody says, "Oh, we're having a pool party," and I go, "I'll be at this table right here."
Yeah.
So that's the drawback.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Charlie's a fantastic illustrator. He's done comic books. He's done advertisements. He's done storyboards. He's done probably movie stuff or commercial stuff and all kinds of stuff. So he's a fantastic.
Coca-Cola, Colgate, and in between there, I found a way to do one comic book called Fatal, and we had 2,000 backers for it. That was fun.
Fantastic, yeah.
And I'm gonna make the second one soon.
Yeah, and we're gonna promote the hell out of that to everybody around here and everywhere else. And I'm sure you'll probably have other people promote you and stuff like that. But I'm very excited for that comic book because I love your artwork.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So I'm pumped about that. But Charlie, is there anything you wanted to say? We're getting ready to wrap it up here. I sure appreciate you popping on, bro. But did you want to put your 2 cents in on anything that we covered? I mean, are lesbians real, Charlie? What do you think about that, bro? I mean, they use dildos. They use penises, bro. I mean, like I'm thinking
that tells me they want dick.
That's what I'm saying. Every lesbian is just one good dicking away from being reset to her, default values.
And if you have a lesbian friend, can she fix your car? She's not like a guy.
Yeah.
She's not. She wouldn't think it was a funny joke. I mean, I grew up with people. Your buddy would piss on your leg while you're standing there.
Yeah.
And you suddenly feel wetness. You go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Isn't that to a lesbian? She'd run away crying.
Wait a minute. I want to know why are your buddies pissing on your leg, bro?
No, that never happened to you?
No, but I hear what you're saying.
With your buddy and you're pissing in the forest, and he just turns, and you think you're just talking, looking straight ahead.
Yeah.
And suddenly your leg's wet. What's wrong with you? You're an idiot. And you go, what a bunch of assholes I'm friends with.
Yeah. It sounds like you got a bunch of normal guys to me, bro. Fantastic.
Yeah, but the lesbian wouldn't like that.
No. Everybody go give Charlie a follow, Charlie Snogans on X. And do you have a website, Charlie, or anything like that?
I used to. It may not be functioning anymore. It's just charliesnogans.com because I'm the only one.
Okay. And also he has a fantastic YouTube, Charlie Snogans on YouTube, where him and his son actually draw together, and they're learning how to draw like Spider-Man, Wolverine, different characters, the Turtles, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely
come subscribe. So I have to get to 200 subscribers so I can stream.
Yeah, we got to get Charlie to 200 subscribers so we can do live streams. I'm over there. I'm subbed. I've been watching the videos, leaving comments, having a good time. But we want to have this positive force in society and support the things that are exactly, the building blocks of our, society going forward. Be the change you want to see, and it starts in your household. And Charlie's one of the guys that's making it happen. So we appreciate that, Charlie.
We're doing it.
Yeah. All right, FOMO. I didn't mean to step on your toes there, but FOMO, do lesbians exist? What are your thoughts, FOMO?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. I can never imagine getting down with a woman, but not having a relationship with a woman.
Bro, that's true. It would be rough to have a relationship with women. They're a lot to manage, that's for sure.
They have the highest abuse rates.
They do. They have the highest domestic violence rates. 100%. You're right about that.
I tried to post. I posted his link in the chat. I don't know if it showed up or not.
We got Mersh in the chat. Shout out to Mersh. He says, post Charlie's link. Yeah, thanks FOMO for posting his link. He'll help him get some subs. Fantastic. Appreciate that, Mersh. Charlie, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mersh, but Mersh is one of, he does Nightwave, and he also does ROTC during the day, Nightwave at night. Fantastic streamer, fantastic guys. He loves pussy, and he loves cats, too. So it's a double win. Let's fucking go. Thanks for posting that, FOMO. But, okay, FOMO, how we settle this debate about lesbians, are they just one dicking down away from being in a good relationship? Like JoJo Siwa, like she's a great example, right? JoJo Siwa, she had a good dicking down. Now she's no longer gay.
I think these younger ones is definitely just phases and attention and whatever. But like I think the real lesbians like probably got molested, whatever, and I don't think those ones will ever come back. Understandably,
and that's fine. And I'm not trying to change anybody.
But the younger ones, because there's these people are so stupid. Like, I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
Like, like, okay. And then you ask them, you go down, you eat pussy, and they're like, no. It's like you're not at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Making out does not count.
Yeah, if you don't have a taste for tuna, you're not bisexual. You're just having a good time you're waiting for a man to show up, is what it is. It's a threesome waiting for a guy to show up. Go follow Forest Mommy. She's on X at Forest Mommy.
And I'm on my friend's podcast tonight. They're called Sibling Revelry on Rumble.
Okay.
But they
I'm not more bald guys. I'm sick of bald guys. Fucking hell.
Yeah, both of them are bald. But they're my old friends. We've been friends forever. He was like my producer, Paul, who makes the show. He was my producer back in the day, and he's having me and Hex, who is when I used to do a show called Golden Shower Sunday Stream. Hex was my co-host, and he's a 6'8" black guy, doesn't play basketball, and he's blind. But he's like, so it'll be a fun show tonight. It's gonna be kind of like a reunion of sorts.
Okay,
so.
fantastic. What's that?
Get the gang back together.
What's his channel so we can search it out there on?
I'll try. You go on to James and I'll link it.
Drop the link in the chat. That's fantastic. Yeah, everybody go watch that tonight. FOMO, bro. FOMO is a fucking unicorn. She is, when you have goals looking for a solid woman, that's the kind of goals that you're looking for. Now, Charlie as well, he's got a solid woman. He's got a solid wife. She's teaching the kids. That's what you're looking for, guys. Keep an eye out. I know you want the TNA. We all do. We all want something somewhere beautiful to park our skin car, to park our dick, bro. We all want something, a nice garage for that. But, get a good woman too, bro. They're out there. Unicorns do exist. James.
Get her pregnant.
Yeah, then get her pregnant. That's right. That's right. Get her.
And things change. When she was pregnant with my son, we had even more sex.
There you go.
Horny and crazy, and the boobs got crazy.
Yeah, I heard horny chicks are, pregnant chicks are horny. Yeah, so 100%.
But then she was pregnant with the girl.
Yeah.
A year or two later. Also, then she told me, as long as she's breastfeeding, she couldn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
So we just had tons of sex, and then she got pregnant.
Yeah, right. I've actually heard that. I heard that is that not true?
My two sisters are really close together because of that, too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So women can get
pregnant with the girl.
Yeah.
No sex.
Ah.
Totally unhorny.
So
a couple times we did it. It was like afterwards she goes, I felt like rape. What was going on?
Oh,
there?
really? Oh, man. I'd be like, baby, don't say that shit.
Look at the results now.
I'm like, come on now, don't be saying that. No, but yeah, I was probably the testosterone from the sun. Do you think that's what it was?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Damn.
then with the girl, she didn't know. She was like a different person. She was grumpy.
Oh.
And also she was upset stomach all the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't know till the girl was born. She
Yeah.
came out with this shock of black hair that was just sticking up.
Wow.
Like she's a blonde now.
Yeah.
But when she came out, she had this black hair.
Yeah.
And so when she was in the belly, it was irritating her stomach all
Oh,
the time.
wow. That's crazy.
She
Yeah.
was-
So
hormones are crazy.
So the next one's got to be a boy, right, Charlie?
No, we're too old.
I just teasing.
We're
Yeah.
too old now.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. I'm busting your balls a little bit now. I'm busting your
I would
balls.
love to, because we were married for 10 years, and I thought I don't want kids. And then when she told me she was pregnant, I started sobbing. I can't have kids. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Well, at least you had
And then,
at least you had her locked in, so that's good.
And then after we had the second one, I thought we should have three. This
Yeah.
is
This is
two's not
excellent.
enough.
Yeah, this is
This is
excellent.
the best. It's the most fun. If you like something, then the kids show up, and then you share it with them, you're gonna love it even more.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I started drawing comics again when my son was one, just because something about him did it, and now he sits here and draws comics with me.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And we read comics. We read John Byrne, Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. I just exposed them to Spawn, Todd McFarlane, and my 10-year-old girl is obsessed with it. I thought,
Oh.
you like Spawn?
That's
She says,
wild.
it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so everybody out there, get on his bandwagon, get on his wavelength. He's all excited about it. I'm going to have
Yeah, wrap it up, Charlie. I haven't got another couple of hours. Come on, son.
all
I'll be
right.
here.
You two get together and it'll be a 5-hour fucking stream.
I know, we did that one time. We did have a long-ass stream the last one, bro, so I got to
Jesus Christ.
mind my P's and Q's a little bit. All right, James, what are your final thoughts? We covered a lot of stuff today. Should women carry a dildo in their purse all the time or what?
Lesbianism is a fad and a phase. They just have to meet the right lesbian conversion unit. That's my opinion. Once they'll grow out of it, they'll meet a guy. It's just a phase and a fad. That's my opinion.
No, I agree 100%.
It's good to be on stream with Charlie.
Yeah.
You have to meet James. Is who they have to meet.
That's right.
You'll pull him back.
That's right. Let James be like your therapist or whatever, your sexologist or whatever it is. But no, if women want to stay lesbians, that's fine with me. If they want to be asexual, I just want people to.
Yeah, the ugly ones can stay lesbians, but we want the attractive ones back.
Yeah, we want the attractive ones back on our team. No, but as long as people find long-term fulfillment, then that's what's important. That's what we're looking for. I got a race car going by.
I have to compete with men. I don't want to have to compete with women as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody go give James a follow. James Domenico Grabbin on X, James Domenico Grabbin 81 on YouTube. He does fantastic 5-minute and below videos on all sorts of things, especially stuff in England, World Cup. He even calls women idiots sometimes, and that's pretty funny. Heidi Ho says...
That's a compliment coming from me.
Yeah, Heidi Ho in the chat says James is the Dr. Drew. So, fantastic. All right, everybody. We're going to bounce out of here. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Go kick some ass. Get a couple of drinks, have a couple of kids, and have some fun. Have your fulfillment in life and be excited about it. And we're out of here, people. So kick some ass.